All right, today we're going to take you through my hybrid mixing setup here in this home project studio setup that is one might call epic. It's a little overkill. We've got multiple rooms here. We can do tracking, mixing. I have a lot of outboard preamps, so everything's analog on the way in. And then for the mixing side, we have all of this lovely outboard gear that is set up as hardware inserts, meaning you can actually insert these in your mix, in your DAW. So I'll take you through some of the gear we're using, and then I'll show you how we have it all set up so that it's super easy to use. And this video is sponsored by our friends at Sweetwater. So if you're looking at some outboard gear or any gear at all for your home studio setup, check out sweetwater.com. I have some links to some of the gear that I use down in the description. Go and check that out if you're curious at all. And let's jump into the video. Okay, so I pulled up a session here. I'm going to show you just an example of how simple it is to use this outboard gear in this hybrid mix setup now. So I have a session pulled up here. I've got my faders right in front of me, so I can easily control whatever it is with my hands here. You can see B3, I can just move it up and down. Now we can move over, let's pick a track that has some inserts. So you can see here on the bass track, if I solo, we've got two bass audio tracks going to this bass aux, and then I have the hardware inserts on the aux. So if I solo our bass here and we hit play, I'm going to turn off our hardware inserts. We should be able to hear this. Now this is just a bass DI. Clean. Anyone curious, this is a 68p bass going to the Warm Audio 73. Just DI. Okay, now let's insert our hardware inserts here. So I've got a 500 series Pultec EQP 500X. And this is just on insert, my guess is 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. But what I've done is actually labeled them now that I know where they're going to be and live. But to make it super simple, again, I always keep my input sheet here with my hardware inserts labeled exactly, just to double check. Pultec 37, in and out. Easy. So we'll insert that. I'm going to hit play. This is what the insert path looks like. You go to IO and then just go down to the path here. So that's with our Pultec engaged. And then I can bypass it on the actual unit. Okay, and next I'm going into a compressor. This is the Audioscape DB. I think they just call it the 260V. It's a copy of these old DBX 160 stereo. But I'm just using the left side, so let's add that on. So it's bringing our level down a little bit, but it's compressing. All right, and let's bypass both of these. So that's how simple it is to pop something in and out. And let's see what else we got. On my drums, I have these SSL 500 series EQs on the drum bus, actually. So let me get this back to where I was using it. So we can hear, I'll turn it off and then we'll flip it on. Actually, this has both. So here's the drums with the SSL EQs, and I'm using the Warm Audio bus comp on them. So I'm going to just solo these up. Let's jump to like a little. Now this is just, I've got my little template here, kick in and out, some plugins on here, a gate, a little bit of an EQ, 1176 plug. But on the bus of the kick drum, I'm actually using an SSL channel strip and then a real 1176. And then I think that's it for hardware inserts on drums outside of the actual drum bus. Now this is where the bus comp and the SSL are. We'll listen to that just for fun. I'll bypass them. But this time I'm gonna bypass them on the units. SSL's out. And compressor out. And both back in. And then we can add in the bass. So just like that. And then over on the mix bus, I have my SSL bus plus on the actual mix. So if I bypass our limiter here and we hit play, I'm gonna turn this off. This is without the bus plus. And then in. A little bit of a level jump there. Big one when we hit the limiter. And then this is kind of the whole thing. I'll mute the vocal on here. So this just allows me, once everything's in, to have immediate mix control on the faders and allows me to use the best of both in the box world digital hybrid mixing plugins, automation, editing, which are so valuable now, and the technology has gotten so good. Some of these plugins are just incredibly powerful and useful, and you know, a lot of them are just as great as the hardware. But then there are some pieces that I have that just add a little thing that maybe I'm not good enough as an engineer to do with a plugin, or I haven't figured out yet. So yeah, it's really, really, really nice. The other thing that I'll insert occasionally is the Transient Designer as an insert, and boy, that thing really, really makes a difference. This is drums with this hallway mic that we have going here. This is the hallway. But check this out. When I insert the SPL, you can get pretty fast, pretty wild with it. So that's in, here's out, in, out. And that's just pulling out the attack, exaggerating the sustain. And when we flip it, watch this. Sounds like it's in the same room. Then the other way. With the mics. Take it out. With it. Now, I also love the plugin. I have the plugin as well, and this thing is great. I actually have it on the snare drum, so both plugin and the outboard, incredibly useful. It's just a joy to be able to use both and throw them on in this hybrid workflow. So getting to use the best of the analog on the front end and on the mix is fantastic. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This is just how I have landed on it, with the way that I/O and the converters are set up to be able to have all of the inputs and outputs to have these on inserts is absolutely amazing. No delay compensation, or automatic delay compensation, I should say. So as you can see, there's no weird delay or flamming or anything strange happening. It just works. Routing it through the control panel on Antelope is just super easy. Literally didn't have to do anything, just patched into it. So that's how I have the whole hybrid set up for recording and for mixing. Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what you're using on your mix and how you like to have things set up. Last thing I'll mention is, if you're putting together your studio and you have any questions about this kind of stuff, if you go to andrewmastersmusic.com, you can book a Zoom call with me, schedule one. I do a lot of consultations on setting up studios. There's a lot of people who watch these videos who are going through this themselves and are curious about the best way to set things up. If you are interested, you can go again to andrewmastersmusic.com, book a consultation with me, and we'll go over your setup. A lot of guys are literally hiring me to like kind of design the whole build out of their studio and signal flow and routing and all that. So if you want to go check that out, the link is down in the description. And thank you again to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. I have links to all the gear. Antelope Audio is not on Sweetwater, so there's a link to the interface that I'm using with a discount code in the description as well. But until the next one, we'll see you.